Hello friends, this is Hatim Rampurawala and in this video we'll revise essay 610 revised, that is using the work of the internal auditor. Okay, so we'll start. This has been broadly divided into, that is meaning and the scope of the internal audit function. So what is the meaning and what is the scope of the internal audit function? Then second, external auditor procedure with respect to the evaluation of the internal auditor function. And third, using the direct assistance of the internal auditor. So you are using the internal auditor to provide direct assistance to the external auditor basically. So we'll start with the meaning and the scope of the internal audit function. So what is the meaning? Meaning of the internal audit function. Internal auditor, internal audit means it is related to the entity, it is within the entity. So the meaning is the function of an entity. So this internal audit function, so this function is of an entity, function of an entity that performs the assurance and the consulting activity designed to evaluate and improve. So it performs the assurance and the consulting activity. It is designed to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of the entity's governance. So there are three keywords, that is, it is designed to evaluate the effectiveness of the first, entity's governance, second, risk management, and third, internal control process. So we'll again quickly just read out the entire definition. A function of an entity, that performs the assurance and the consulting activities designed to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of the entity's governance structure, entity's governance, risk management, and the internal control process. So why I said these three are the main keywords, because now we will see this in the scope of an internal audit. So what is the scope of the internal audit? First is activity related to the governance. See, it is over here entities governance, so activity relating to the governance. Second, activity relating to the risk management. Third, activity relating to the internal control. So now in third point is basically subdivided into 4 points. So activity relating to the internal control, so in that, first, evaluation of the internal control. So auditor have to evaluate the auditor, that is internal auditor, evaluate the internal control. Then he examines the financial and the operating information, reviews the operating activity, and review the compliance with laws and regulation. So what is the scope? First, activity relating to the governance, activity relating to the risk management, activity relating to the internal control. In that 4 points, that is first is evaluation of the internal control function, internal control. Then examination of the financial and the operating activities, financial and the operating information. Third, review of the operating activities. Fourth, review of the compliance of the laws with laws and regulation. Then we'll move on to the second part, that is external auditor procedure, external auditor's procedure with respect to, so what will be the procedure of the external auditor with respect to the evaluation of the internal function? So what they will first do is determine the adequacy of the internal auditor work for the external auditor's purpose. So first they will determine the adequacy of the internal auditor work, that whether the work is adequate, that can be used by the external auditor for their purposes. So for evaluating that, the external auditor will look into first the objectivity of the means, basically they will evaluate the following, that is first, objective of the internal auditor, objectivity, there whether means it should be an independent entity of the what we can say, of the entity, independent to the entity. Second, level of the competency. Third, application of the systematic and the balanced approach. So if these three are not satisfied, basically there has been lack of objectivity or lack of competency or lack of application of a systematic and disciplined approach, so the work of the or the external auditor do not use the work of the internal audit function. And if it is satisfactory, that it is complying with all the three, then determine the nature and the extent of the work of the internal audit function that can be used. So now the external auditor will determine the nature and the extent of the work of the internal audit function that can be used. So we'll determine, okay, what nature or what extent of work they can use the work of the internal auditor. Now using the work of the internal audit function, this is too important, this is also important, that is first, discuss the planned use of the work of the internal auditor. External auditor will discuss the planned use, that what is the what information basically they need, discuss the planned use. So how they will use the information of the what we can say, internal auditor, which they obtain from internal auditor, what will be their use. So they will discuss the planned use of the work of the internal auditor, that how the internal auditor's work can be used by the external auditor. Second, means they will discuss this thing. Second, external auditor will read the reports of the internal audit function. So internal auditor already carried on the audit, they have their reports, so external auditor will read the reports of the internal audit function relating to the work of the function that the external auditor plans to use to obtain an understanding of the extent and the nature and the extent of the audit procedure. So what they are given is, read the reports of the internal audit function relating to the work of the function that the external auditor plan to use. So now internal audit function has done, for instance, five works, basically 5 areas they have checked. Now from that area, 2 areas are that external auditor is planning to check. So what they will do, instead of they being again auditing that, what they will do is they will read the reports of in relation to that 2 areas which have been audited by the internal auditor, so that their time can be saved, their efforts can be saved, and they can rely on the work of that, means they can read the report, what is their conclusions and their related findings, and then on that they can act accordingly. External auditor can act accordingly. So I will read the second point entirely again, that is the read the report of the internal audit function relating to the work of the function that the external auditor plans to use to obtain an understanding that the external auditor is planning to use to obtain an understanding of the nature and the extent of an audit procedure it performed. So what audit procedure the internal audit function is already performed, through the reading of the report they will get to know, and the related findings they will get to know. Third, perform the sufficient audit procedure. So external auditor will perform the sufficient audit procedure on the work of the internal audit function as a whole, that the internal auditor function as a whole, that the external auditor plans to use to determine its adequacy for the purpose of an audit. Now for if we continue with the same example, in relation to that 2 areas, if they are relying on the work performed by the internal auditor, so they have to determine that they have to determine the adequacy of the, what we can say, of the work being performed by the internal auditor. That's what they have given, that is perform the audit procedure on the work of the internal auditor function. So they will perform the audit procedure on the work which has already been performed by the internal auditor as a whole, that the external auditor plan to use this to determine its adequacy for the purpose of the audit, for the purpose of an audit, which an external auditor is basically going to use for the purpose of an audit. In relation to that, external auditor will perform the procedure on the work which has been done on the work of the internal auditor function. And the fourth point is evaluate whether the external auditor's conclusion. So now it is given that the external auditor, which they would have been made the conclusion regarding the internal auditor function after checking the adequacy, after checking the accuracy, completeness, all things of the work of the internal auditor function, that is evaluate whether the external auditor conclusion evaluate whether the external auditor's conclusion regarding the internal auditor function, and determine that the nature and the extent of the use of the work of the function, and they should determine the nature and the extent of the work of the function for the purpose of an audit remains appropriate, and they will determine at the end, after checking after performing the audit procedure on the work being performed on the work being done by the internal auditor, to check the adequacy that certain work, that is the nature and the extent of the use of the work of the function for the purpose of an audit remains appropriate. So that information is appropriate and they can use that information, that is the external auditor can use that information. Okay, we had consumed a lot time in this concept, but again what I will do is quickly just read, so it can be beneficial in revision. I will not be explaining this again. So use of the work of the internal audit function. First, discuss the planned planned use of the work of the internal auditor. So discuss the planned use of the work of the internal auditor. Second, read the report of the internal auditor function relating to the work of the function that the external auditor plans to use the work of the use the work to obtain an understanding of the nature and the extent of an audit procedure that it performed and the related findings. Perform sufficient audit procedure on the work of an internal audit function as a whole that the external auditor plans to use to determine its adequacy for the purpose of an audit. Evaluate whether the external auditor's conclusion regarding the internal audit function and determine the nature and the extent of the use of the work of the function for the purpose of an audit remains appropriate. Okay, so we are done with this concept, that is meaning and the scope. We saw the meaning, that is it is a function of an entity that performs the assurance and consulting service designed to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of the entity's governance, risk management and entities control procedure. We saw the scope, that is the activity relating to the governance, activity relating to the risk management, activity relating to the internal control. It is divided into 4 parts, that is evaluation of the internal control, examination of the financial and evaluation of the internal control, examination of the financial and operating information. Third, review of the operating activity. Fourth, review of the compliance with laws and regulation. Then we saw that to determine the adequacy of the, that is external auditor needs to determine the adequacy of the internal auditor's work for the purpose of the external auditor's purpose by evaluating 3 things, that is the objectivity of the internal auditor, the level of the competency and the application of an application of the systematic and the disciplined approach. If it is not satisfied, if it is not satisfactory, then external auditor will not use the work of the internal auditor function, and if it is satisfactory, they will determine the nature and the extent of the work of the internal auditor that can be used. Then use of the work of an internal auditor. First, they will discuss the planned use of the work of the internal auditor. Then they will external auditor shall read the report of the internal auditor function relating to the work of the function, relating to that work, basically that specific work relating to the, they will read the report relating to the work, that specific work of an expert, specific work of an function that the external auditor plans to use to obtain an understanding in the nature and the extent of an audit procedure it has performed. So through that reading, they will get that the nature and the extent of an nature and extent of an audit procedure that has been performed and the related findings. Then perform the sufficient audit procedure on the work of the internal audit function. So they will perform sufficient audit procedure on the work being performed by the internal auditor function as a whole that the external auditor plan to use to determine its adequacy for the purpose of an audit, and evaluate the external auditor's conclusion regarding the internal auditor and determine the nature and the extent of the work of the nature and the extent of the use of the work of the function for the purpose of the audit remains appropriate. Now we'll move on to the last concept, that is using the direct assistance of the internal auditor. This is also an important concept. Now what it says, it has been divided into 3 points. 3 points. We'll go one by one. First, determine whether the internal auditor, IA that is internal auditor and DA that is direct assistance, determine whether the internal auditor can be used to provide the direct assistance. So we have to determine whether internal auditor can provide direct assistance or not. So if it is not been prohibited by the law or regulation, the external auditor may use the internal auditor to provide the direct assistance. So if it is not been prohibited, so external auditor can use the work of the internal auditor to provide the direct assistance if there has been no significant threat to the objectivity of the internal auditor. So there, first of all, there should not be threat to the objectivity of the internal auditor, and the internal auditor is sufficiently competent to perform the proposed work. Internal auditor is sufficiently competent to perform proposed work. He will see that first, that internal auditor should be sufficient, that is he should be competent to perform that work, and there should be no significant threat to the objectivity. Then the external auditor can use the work. Second, determining the nature and the extent of the work that can be assigned to the internal auditor. Now what extent of work can be assigned? Now external auditor cannot assign all the work of his saying it as a direct assistant and that to be done by the internal auditor, and he will sit alone and do nothing. But he can only assign that function that are of not more significant, means all the important decision, all the important area, the external auditor have to in relating to that, he will only have to decide, or he will only have to give the judgment, okay, or he will only have to apply his brain. He cannot direct that work to be done by the internal auditor. So what they have given is, for second, internal auditor shall not be used to provide the direct assistance to perform procedures that, so he cannot be used to perform the procedures such as this 4 points ABCD. First, that involves making significant judgment in the audit. In case of any that involves, if any of the procedure involves making significant judgment, in that basis direct assistance cannot be taken. Now significant judgment has been defined. That is, significant judgment includes the following: assessing the risk of material misstatement, evaluating the sufficiency of the test performed, evaluating the appropriateness of the management use of the going concern. So in relation to the risk area of the assessing the risk of material misstatement, evaluating the appropriateness of the management use of the going concern, evaluating the sufficiency of the tests performed, then evaluating the significant accounting estimates, and evaluating the adequacy of the disclosure in the financial statement. So in relation to any of the matter, means that is the adequacy of the disclosure in the financial statement and the other matter affecting the auditor's report. So in any of the case where it requires the decision on the basically disclosure in the financial statement or the matters affecting the auditor's report, in that area he cannot take the work of the direct assistance of the auditor. He will only have to do that is not involving significant judgment in an audit. Second, matter of the higher assessed risk of material misstatement. Third, related to the work with which an internal auditor has been involved. Now the internal auditor has been involved in relation to specific work with the management. So now in relation to that work, he cannot use the internal auditor to provide the direct assistance, because he is only involved in the management. So related to the work with which the internal auditor has not been involved, then fourth, related to the decision the external auditor makes in accordance with an essay, and he cannot take his work in relation to any of the decisions which the external auditor generally makes in accordance with an essay with respect to the internal audit function, and then use of its work, internal audit function, use of its work, or the direct assistance. So the question to the answer was basically that the internal auditor shall not be used to provide the direct assistance to perform the procedures such as, first, involving making significant judgment. Significant judgment include assessing the risk of the material misstatement, sufficiency, evaluating the sufficiency of the first, assessing the risk of material misstatement, evaluating the sufficiency of the test performed, evaluating the appropriateness of the management use of the going concern, making the going concern assumption, evaluating the significance of the accounting estimates, and evaluation of the adequacy of the disclosure in the financial statement and the other matter affecting the auditor's report. Then the B point, related to the any matter related to the higher assessed risk of material misstatement, then any matter which relates to the, second was higher assessed risk of material misstatement. Third, relates to the work with which the internal auditor have been involved. Okay, so in relation to that matter the internal auditor has been involved and relate to the decision that the external auditor makes in accordance with which the essay. In accordance with the essay, external auditor makes the decision with respect to the internal audit function, use of its work, and the direct assistance. So in relation to that decision also, he cannot use the work of the direct assistance, internal auditor, as in to provide the direct assistance basically. And the third concept is, and the last one, that is use of the direct assistance of the internal, or use of the direct assistance of the internal auditor. Using the direct assistance of the internal auditor, first, prior to using of the internal auditor to provide the direct assistance for the purpose of an audit, the external auditor shall first obtain the written. So prior to using the internal auditor to provide the direct assistance, external auditor, what he will do is, external auditor shall first obtain the written representation from the entity that the internal auditor will be allowed to follow the external auditor instruction. They will obtain the written representation from the management that the internal auditor will be allowed to follow the instruction of the external auditor, and instruction of the external auditor, and that the entity will not intervene in the work of the internal auditor, and obtain the written representation from the internal auditor that they will keep the confidential specific matters as instructed by the external auditor, so they will keep the matter confidential. And second, inform the external auditor about their threat to their objectivity. So whenever there is any threat to the objectivity, they will inform. And the second point, and the first point in that, that is obtain the written representation, that is they will keep the confidential specific matter as instructed by the external auditor. So as being instructed by the external auditor, they will keep the matters confidential. And second, inform the external auditor about the threat to their objectivity. Then the second point, that the external auditor shall direct external auditor shall direct, supervise and review the work performed by the internal auditor on the engagement in accordance with this one. So what he will do, external auditor will shall direct, supervise and review of the work performed. Because why it is given in accordance with SA 220? Because in SA 220 there has been concept discussed, that is the direction, supervision and review. So the same applies over here, that is the external auditor shall direct, supervise and review the work performed. The work which has been performed by the internal auditor, they will direct them, they will supervise them, they will review their work of the work and review the work performed by the internal auditor on the engagement in accordance with SA 220. And third point, that is the direction, supervision and the review by the external auditor of the work being performed by the internal auditor, that will be sufficient in order for the external auditor to be satisfied that the internal auditor has obtained sufficient appropriate audit evidence to support the conclusion based on that work. So the direction, supervision and review will be sufficient for the external auditor to be satisfied that the internal auditor performed the sufficient appropriate audit evidence to support the conclusion on that work, basically. Okay, so we are done with this essay. This essay took comparatively more time than the other essay which we revised it yet. Okay, but then too we did in entirety. Thank you for watching the video.